for a conversation produced by our underwriter, Scout Motors, about revitalizing an American icon to drive community and connection. Please welcome President and CEO of Scout Motors, Scott Keogh, with the Atlantic's CEO, Nicholas Thompson.
All right. Scott, it is lovely to see you here. I hope everybody saw his car out front. It looks very cool.
I hope so too, absolutely.
So you're doing this very simple thing, which is starting a new car company. It's not a very capital intensive thing. It's something that a lot of people have succeeded in recently. Let me ask you a question.
New York sarcasm is reigning in, huh?
Yeah, okay. Welcome. You know, you work in South Carolina, you come to New York, we come at you with a little bit of this. Here's a question for you. You have this hypothesis, which is pretty interesting, which is that cars should be very modern, right? You should have electric cars, you should have all kinds of new stuff, but they should feel classic, right? That people want something tactile. Yeah. And that it's actually a reaction against the age we're in. Will you explain that?
Yeah, no, thanks for asking. And I think what we just listened to confirms that. Look, I think to start a great company, in our minds, you need three things. Obviously, you need a business reason. Of course, you need a real market need and a little bit of serendipity or magic.
And $600 million, right?
And a little more than that, okay. But a little more than that, a few $1 billion. A few billion. I think the business need is clear. I think the U.S. car market has a couple of profit pools. There's two segments where all the money is made, and you have to be there to be successful. The second one is what we've noticed without a doubt is this absolute connection and disorientation amongst the American consumer and amongst automotive. You know, there was sort of two promises in our segment. Promise number one was put all technology at all times in the car. It's going to be great. And it led to 3 screens of televisions inside cars, layers and layers of software, layers and layers of AI. And instead of being connection machines, they were these disconnection machines, without a doubt. I think the other thing that the industry promoted was this sort of bravado of go dominate, right? If you have an off-road car, it's like dominate nature, dominate the terrain, take over the universe, take over the world. And I think all of these things just caused unease and disconnection. And then the third piece, which was the magic, is the company Volkswagen Group acquired a truck company called Navistar. Under the IP of this truck company, Navistar, was a magical, iconic brand called Scout. It invented the SUV, and we're now revitalizing. So a piece of magic, a business reason, and this real need to connect. And that's what our designers and engineers have brought to life in this car.
Wait, so you feel like all those ads about, like, dominate nature, we will go out, we will crush it, we will take you to the top of the biggest iceberg. You feel like that has alienated people from their cars?
I think it's alienated them from other people. I think it's alienated.
I mean, I drove a Honda Odyssey, so we're not really like that.
Maybe not the right target group for that thing. And then I think if you look at the technology, 100% it has done that. We did something as simple and basic as put real switches back into the car, and it's like, absolutely, I want to connect with something.
Right, so do I roll down the window like this?
Oh, we're almost there, but not quite on that front.
Wait, tell me exactly the old school stuff you put in this car.
I think first and foremost is a bench seat in the front. So I know there's lots of dating apps, but I think nothing's going to beat a bench seat in the front of the car. And I think this is real connection beyond the whole thing.
But that's like for a threesome.
You said it, not me. It could also be your dog. It could be your son. It could be your.
Okay. Great. Sorry. Keep going.
So that's the first one. I think the second one is all of the physical switches. You don't have to go 3 levels down of software to turn on a heated seat and do those types of things. I think the third one is a tailgate like the original Scout had in the back. There would have been a much easier way to execute this, but we wanted to create sort of a Scout moment, and you can sit and do a tailgate in the back. We have a cabana roof that's sort of an ode to sort of 1950s design, big giant fabric roof that you can open and get the outdoors. And we did almost everything possible to build what we called a connection machine. And the reason we wanted to build a connection machine is we think automotive was starting to build disconnection machines. Yep. AI, it'll drive itself, don't touch anything, don't engage with the car. And this narrative, by the way, is proven true because we see the reaction that we're getting to the vehicle and this powerful idea.
You can even choose your music in the Uber, so you don't have to talk to the Uber driver. You also have this kind of amazing combination where it is an electric vehicle, but it also can be powered by gas, but it's not a hybrid. Explain that, because that's my favorite thing about these cars.
It is my favorite thing as well. Look, I think we all see the narrative in America, which I think is a little bit nonsense, that EV is somehow evil, or I love EV. ICE is great. Let's go internal combustion engine. Let's go back to the 50s, and it's going to be fantastic.
So America's come together, and everybody hates Tesla now. Like that is the one thing that unites.
No comment on that front.
Okay, sorry. Continue.
So I think if you look at the technology, and we're the only ones with it, it's a powerful solution. So what did Americans say? EVs are cool. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. They're super quiet. I can charge them at home. However, I have this anxiety, a range anxiety, which is real. So we came up with a smart engineering solution where basically you can get 150 miles of EV range with the gas extender. You can get 500 miles of total range. And to me, it solves the problem. It's got the benefits of EV with an engine that gives you the range. How it works.
But it's not a gas combustion engine driving the car and powering the drivetrain.
Driving the car and driving is the battery.
Right.
The engine is used to charge the battery.
Right. So why can you only get an extra 350 miles on the battery from filling it with gas?
Because the gas is used to charge the battery.
Right, but can't you make a bigger tank and get like 1,000?
Theoretically, you could go infinite, but we do want to have a car of certain size and certain proportions.
So the value of this is that you get all the good things of electric. And if you're just driving around town, you can always use electric. But if you're driving, 8 hours to go see your mom, as happens with me, you don't have to stop and charge all the time.
Exactly. And again, the overwhelming majority of Americans drive under 45, 60 miles a day. So an electric car is perfect for that. But when you have to go longer distances, you have a solution, and it's super efficient.
You can just stop at a gas station.
Yeah. The other super slick thing about the engine, since it's only being dialed in to do one thing, charge the battery, you can be very efficient with the engine. You don't have to cover massive RPM ranges. You can cover isolated RPM ranges, so you can really dial it in.
And your goal is not just to make an electric car that will sell really well in Vermont. You want to reach the entire country, right?
100%.
What is the ratio of cars or pre-orders that you've had in California versus pre-orders in Texas?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a historical, let's say, normal EV company, 60% of your business would be California, and the rest would sort of be America. If I look at us, we're roughly 25, 26% California. I think we're 17, 18% in Texas.
Oh, wow.
So we have definitely built an American 50-state car, which, by the way, is not easy. If you look at most automotive companies, they're either heartland companies, they do well there, or they're coastal companies. And I think with our brand and what we're doing in America, we have an opportunity to be a 50-stater.
You actually have a new way of doing an engine, and you think you have a new way of doing a brand where you've got...
We don't think. We definitely have a new way of doing an engine, and we definitely have a new way of doing a brand. So it's not my thinking. It's real.
Okay, explain, but explain, right, you're running counter to, trucks and SUVs that go and dominate the wilderness. You do have an electric motor in there. How are you selling this in red America where people have to make long drives? What is the advantage of this over a Ford F-150?
Yeah, the advantage of this over a Ford F-150 is, one, the E-range. Two, the power is immense because you got the power of that battery. So you get the range and you get more power than the F-150 that you just referenced. So that's the exact solution America's been looking for. It's got V8 power with great range, plus it's an EV on top.
All right, so you want to make a universal American brand. You've got this very cool engineering. You've got this old classic stuff. You need to build these cars. When are we going to be able to buy them? Can we drive out with that one on the bottom?
Not exactly. Okay. Not exactly.
So when do these cars go on the market?
2027, end of 2027. Of course, we're building a factory in Blythewood, South Carolina, as we speak. The other thing, by the way, getting to connection, I think not only does this manifest itself with the consumer, it's at the factory as well. And you have to look at why in America do we have 20 to 30% absenteeism in factories in America. And what we have is a lot of people say, oh, it's going to be great. We should build things again in America. Let's build things again in America. Usually spoken by people who have never worked in a factory. So we are going to make massive efforts. And the reason it happened is a lack of respect on the factory floor. I think not enough people knows what it takes to work in a factory, 8, 10 hours a day, work on Sundays, work 24 hours on that front. And that's another dynamic that we are going to work hard for. That's why our site is not going to be just a factory site. We're going to have medical there. We're going to have child care there, health care there on the site, interacting with the community. So yes, it's a little 1950s-ish, but I think that's exactly what's needed to make a factory work.
What percent of the assembly line will be roboticized?
Yeah, it's not. We relatively are going to have lean on the robots. The reason we want to do that is it makes you relatively fixed. If you have to alter anything, if you have robots, dramatic ripping up the plant. So it's not great. So we believe we want a lot more hands-on the plant. It gives us flexibility. It gives us adaptability. Plus, it's a great labor opportunity. I think if you look at Blythewood, South Carolina, and the labor opportunities there We're going to be training. We're going to be paying substantially more than what's in the market. You're going to have real benefits. And so...
So I read about your search for a factory, right? And you have to find a place where there's power, and you have to find a place where there's water, and you have to find a place where there's a good labor force, and you find that you want to find a place that's kind of flat too, right?
Yeah, not easy.
And so you go down to Blythewood, and you find the perfect spot, but there's a big house in it, a big red house, and so you bulldoze that, right?
Not at all. That's not a good way to connect our community. No, thanks for bringing that up. I think there's a kind of one of the founding things of this company.
Oh, there it is.
And there it is. And we arrived there. Of course, it's a 1,600-acre site. This doesn't give you a great feel for it, but that's the original family. This was their home. They sold the land generations ago. And yeah, most companies would have bulldozed it. We made that our first headquarters, and it's still there. So it was a real grounding element to say we're building a real car for real Americans that live in homes like that. And it's there. And yeah, every time I go to the plant, that's where we hold our meetings and that's where we do things. And what was very touching is the son and the mother came to our groundbreaking, and they were almost in tears when they were seeing what's coming of their former site. So it was a powerful moment, and I think, yeah, they sound trite, but for us, they're important. And to that community in Blythewood, to you sitting in New York City, that's just a tiny red house, the community in Blythewood, that was an important symbol of the type of company we are. So it was critical for us.
I like that a lot. Yeah, well, we want to be a 50-state brand. You want to be a 50-state brand. It's great to have you here. Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was great.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great.